Disrupt Education, episode 15. I have Christian Harris, owner of MadePro, Oak Park Library board member, community activist. Great being here, man. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Love it.
Very glad to be here. It's a special honor to be invited to speak with one of your mentors and
thanks, man.
Somebody who's a big reason to where you are today. So thank you for the invite. I'm glad to be here.
So we'll start right in. So your path from high school to actually business owner. Tell us a little bit about that.
So my path from high school to business ownership was a little smoother than most people's. I knew at 10 years old that I wanted to own my own business. Just didn't really have much of a construct to what that really looked like. So I was very excited when I transferred to OPRF for high school that there was a small business management class, and your class really did give me a lot of meat to the bones of what business ownership would look like, you know, what a business plan was, what revenues were, what profits were, just little things like that really solidified that this is the path that I wanted to take. And I started looking for colleges that had the entrepreneurship major, or at least an entrepreneurship program, and did find one that I liked and felt comfortable at in Bradley University. And Bradley's a great school, has a good business school and a good entrepreneurship program, and it did prepare me well. No job can ever prepare you fully for what the joys and pains of being a business owner is like. However, it really did prepare me for just how difficult it was going to be, and they instilled that in us from the first day, that it's going to be a journey and it's going to be difficult. So I came out prepared for that, and I was just lucky enough to have a mom that was willing to invest in me and invest in us and the community. She really was looking for a little bit more money in her pocket when she retired, and was looking at some different ways to do that. So we did decide to open up something of our own and in the community that I grew up in, and she still lives in and I still live in.
Yeah,
so
that's great. I do remember, jumping off and when you started the business and the trials and tribulations, but you had you still do have a really good attitude about it, and the things of you just problems occur, but you handled them smoothly. And is that a result of what kind of Bradley kind of taught you to do a little bit, or is that just your nature, or both?
It's definitely both. Yeah. But Bradley did prepare me for that, that it was going to be difficult, and that one of the biggest quotes I took from Bradley was that business is a race to see who can fail the fastest,
Nice.
And that you go into it and you learn as much as you can, try as hard as you can, but that even failure isn't failure, it's a learning experience, and you use those tools to move on to your next business.
Right.
And the faster you can fail and learn those lessons, the quicker you will be successful. I'm just lucky that so far my first business has been successful, although my second one wasn't as successful, as we've talked about. But this one, just about every year we've grown, and it's been a good trajectory. And problems do arise, specifically in this business. It can be tough when in the morning you find out 2 of your employees call off, and how are you going to make all your cleanings for the day? But it's just very important to keep your head down and see how it all fits into a larger picture of the business. So I try to do that. I try to think about, okay, this is just one day, one incident. Yeah. The business is much bigger than that. There's a lot of moving parts in it.
It's a great way of looking at it. So I was just running into my second question then. How do we teach high school students that better, right? Knowing what you know now in business, and actually going to another level of education, what do you wish 16-year-old Christian Harris would love to know?
So it's a great question, and I think very timely, as you've talked so much about disrupting education. I graduated high school, and I could have quoted you more Shakespeare than I knew about a credit score, or the student loans that were going to be so prevalent in the next few years of my life, or how to apply for an apartment and how that process worked. I have to always be careful because my dad's an English teacher, so I'm not saying we shouldn't be teaching Shakespeare, but at the same time, I really needed the life skills to succeed the day after I graduated from high school. When I went to open my second business, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it was a limo service, so we had to get a car. And so here I am walking into dealerships, just generally knowing what my credit score is, not knowing what that means or the factors that go into it, and people saying, oh, you have great credit. but no credit. And this is me. You know, I'm a college graduate. I actually already owned a business, and I still had no idea really what a credit score was. So when I think back to how I could have been prepared better, that's one of the things, you know, I simply could have been taught. I could have been taught, moving on to other people that weren't as blessed as me, that weren't able to go on to college, let's say. You know, those people need to graduate high school knowing how to apply for an apartment.
Right.
Or how to get their first car, or how to open their first business. So I think there are some curriculum changes that could be made to really prepare students for success.
Let's go into that. So what are, like, shoot me some ideas, like in high school, that maybe you could see or came up with that, because you experienced, my dad was a math teacher, same kind of deal. You know, the experiences you had in the management course, and then with, probably, if you were in English, you probably did great because your dad was a teacher at that. But what kind of things, you know, as college becomes a little bit further out of reach for a lot of people, honestly, what do you think high schools can do differently?
So with me in school, there was always this disconnect. I would be sitting in history class, and I would learn about American heroes and our founding fathers that were people I was supposed to look up to, but that had enslaved my ancestors, although that part was usually left out. I would be sitting in science class and learning how to mix up chemicals and not understanding how it fit into a larger picture of my life. Or even the example I just gave about being in English class and learning the great authors like Shakespeare, and not being able to see myself in the text, and really feeling I should have been learning some other things. So as a high school student, I'm not sure I could have articulated that to you. You know, it might have played out in a bad grade on a test, or acting up in the hallways, or not doing my homework. But now looking back, I can say I was disconnected, very disconnected with how school fit into my larger life and where I was trying to go, and even what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. So I really think a lot of it centers around revamping the curriculum in high schools, and people like you are doing such a great job of leading that effort. So I'm so glad it's already happening, and I feel like more can be done. Just have a class that teaches kids about credit scores and about loans and about interest rates, and some of that was, to be fair, some of that was done at OPRF, but about how to open your first business and what that might look like, and securing different sources of funding. All of that can do a lot for students. You know, when I think about, you know, today, what do I take from English class on a daily basis, right? So I can read, I can write. But the only time I really talk about the authors, and the only time I really discuss history, is usually with other people that have went to college, and we're small talking and talking about all the books that we've read together. There was just the time there, you have people there for 4 years. It could have been used differently, and I think a little bit better with a revamped curriculum.
Great, man. Well, I appreciate it. A lot of great insight there. I love your story, man. I had you as a student. It's great to see you grow up and own something, and create and actually give back to the community. So I appreciate it, man.
Yes.
Thanks for being on episode 15.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Disrupt Education. We'll always be back for more. MaidPro, Christian Harris, Oak Park Library Board. Thanks a lot, man.
Yes, thank you so much.
We'll see you next time, guys.